But yeah, it's like $1 cheap, you pay like $1.
Oh, yeah. So they're making an extra $5 a bed.
Yeah. That's up quite a bit.
Not that everybody brings it in, so.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have to carry it home normally, I'll bring it if I stop.
Sure.
You guys shoot yet, Kevin?
Yeah, practicing.
Right.
It's kind of weird this year, I don't go.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for me too, I'm not either. They don't start till I think the 24th.
Limited shootings. I'm not saying over, but it's okay with 57. You got 21s or 22s.
Oh, this early?
That's not bad. That's good. Him and the coach have a special relationship.
Oh, yeah?
He likes to clown him just to not get mad.
Oh, yeah. He the coach or Coach Ann? Ethan the coach likes to coach you out or the coach get Ethan? Oh, okay,
He knows how to push the buttons.
I see.
Because then, somebody can work out days you do so the next practice, you should be like this.
Perfect.
He had other pants with that, he did just a,
Get him going.
he just rolled his eyes and go, really?
I can't see you get worked up too much.
That's pretty bad.
So yeah, on that virus note, part of what was on here, Julie has been using Lysol at the common counters. She makes her rounds. We've been getting a lot of calls from, we're gonna do anything. So, I know. But she is,
Surfaces too, they say.
Days. Did you see that? Live on services for days.
But I would like to think that, you know, all these restaurants are sitting outside there. You know, yeah, they're changing their stuff. It's
I hope
like,
they're doing that before.
What are you doing? Well, this is what they were supposed to be doing.
well, that's like Julie, she wiped the counter for, but not with Lysol. So she started doing it.
You need to get a text message from hotels, you know, that you're on their email list, there was.
Been moved and seconded.
Weren't you before?
Yeah, all in favor, say aye.
I
I'm just ignoring him, I'm not here.
motion to approve the minutes from, January sixth.
March 6th.
March sixth to March 9th. You think when it's written in front of me, I would have got it.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Motion carries.
Where do you wanna start, John? You wanna start with sealed bids? You want me to do my report first? I don't care. Do the report.
I don't care.
I don't care, doesn't matter.
My name.
Oh, where did we get, Jessica? I always contact 3 people at
Can
least.
I tell us what the
You review when?
Third, or was it, Thursday of last week?
March 6th, it says on the top.
Yeah. Yep, you're right, that's what it says.
March 6th at what time?
It just says March 6th,
Okay, because we had one come in at March 6th at 11:45 a.m.
that's fine.
So it was March
I
6th.
didn't know if you had it.
Well,
Yeah, I think I talked to 4 contractors, I think, Brian Kriegel, Josh Simmons,
Okay, Kriegel Construction.
Yeah.
Material labor according to bid sheets. Any rough framing of side framing that needs to be replaced will be done, time and material $55 an hour plus materials. And the bid is $33,000.
okay, Kriegel's 33,000. I don't like the idea of that material thing, but.
Yeah, well,
that's
that's why I read.
right, material, is that?
That's that, I have that on here, the new treated tongue and groove skirt boards, which is basically supposed to be for both sides, the whole building.
The
He's the
second-
only one that really didn't talk to me in detail about it, he was the last minute.
Simmons Construction, theirs is for, it says remove and install new green treated tongue and groove boards in the lower band of the building, around the building, so
Mhm.
looks like they included it. The only question it says at the bottom is just electrical disconnected and reconnected, question mark, question.
I'll do that.
And their bid is $32,367.
Okay. 367, okay.
Okay, Saturday night?
No, it's- the next bid is Rick Ayers Construction out of North English. Steel. Where'd you go? 2x8 treated, 2x12. Gutter and four drops. His bid is $22,799.10.
There we go. There.
79910.
22,799.10. That's it.
Those only three, Jessica?
Yes.
Okay. That's fine.
Was there anything on here?
Yeah, read yours again, what his
That's
said
what,
there.
okay, so I'm just gonna, it's pretty simple.
Yeah,
62 pieces of 14x4 steel, 19 pieces of 21 foot steel, 60 foot of ridge cap, 12 pieces of 15 foot rake corner, 1.5 inch screws, 2 inch screws, 124 pieces of steel, 2x8s treated, two 12x12 doors and opener with 4 operators. Labor for the project, gutter for 4 drops, that is all included.
okay.
So,
And he had this sheet.
you want, I mean,
He didn't put any, well, he knows what the gauge of steel is supposed to be in that, so.
I guess we want to approve of the stipulation that it's got everything included. Since it's 10,000 more than the
I
other.
know,
That's a big difference.
That's why I said,
Yeah,
I mean, you want anything on that?
what are we missing?
I don't know,
he had this sheet.
because there's no, I mean,
That's a big difference.
so,
I guess we could prove it and then I could get with him and make sure
that's what I mean.
with that stipulation that he had everything included.
That in your review that
Yeah.
it's good conform.
And I think Rick, normally, he does more of that kind of thing.
Yeah,
With steel, he's not the guy that's gonna build a new home and that type of thing. But I think for something like this,
He built our garage.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
he may.
I'm not concerned about the work. I just
yeah,
wanna make
okay,
sure
yeah,
everybody,
okay,
with them being that far apart.
yeah.
I mean, he's 50% less than the other two.
I worked with him at Amana for a couple of years. Yeah.
And we're getting bad about it.
No. Is there,
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid subject to Scott's approval of everything included that was in the bid.
Second.
second? Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the repairs bid, subject to Scott's approval that everything is included in the bid and understood the same. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, I'll run through the report here. I'm just gonna talk a little bit. The last couple of days have been a little, we've had some sewer issues, so, the main sewer at the courthouse was plugged the day before yesterday. I was able to get it open at the manhole in the back. I think what happened, guys, is, because there's a lot of issues around town, I think the main sewer line's plugged, thus it backed up, into our outlet, and we're kind of on the end of there, so I was able to take a tape, get it opened up, but it was still slow and a lot of sludge and stuff. So I had Jason from JP Jetter out of Grinnell come yesterday. We jetted the whole main underneath the basement of the courthouse because I guess it felt it backed up clear back in there. And we had some sewage and some floor drains in the basement of the courthouse. There was a little bit of nuisance smell of that, but I think we got that all resolved now, taken care of. Since then, late yesterday, we have the same issue down at transportation / building maintenance. The main is plugged as we speak now. I have Shane down there. Jason is on his way with the jetter.
That's kind of odd, isn't it?
Yeah, and I also called Doug Kinsaball. When we were doing that, and I told Doug, one of their trucks, right after we did that, or during that process, rock truck accidentally backed in the trench and sunk in pretty deep in an area. I'm concerned that maybe there's not a belly or something going on there, so Doug's gonna do locates and take a look at that, 'cause, yeah, we shouldn't have issues this early, I agree, it's new.
No, it isn't, but that here and there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it had to do with the city. Shane said that, his neighbor had issues too yesterday, so. Nice.
Sewers run flatter and we're, they do say, glitch.
Does that seem like something like that?
And if you're on the end of the line, like the courthouse kind of is there on that manhole, we are there. And if the main sewer backs up, that sludge tends to push back and plugs your line out. So yeah, so we get that out there. So I'll run through this list here. I'll just try and pick out some of the highlights. If you guys have questions, we go down through here. Yeah, I guess one thing I think I'll talk about is Janine at the REA. She's requesting some kind of a partition in the gym area where they do their exercise, and then they have other activities there, and it seems like there's always distractions type thing. So I'm looking into some portable, and you guys probably have seen it, some schools have them. They're like on a chair cart type thing. They're on wheels, and they can move around. I think it's gonna be like a $700 to $1,200 thing, the ones I've been looking at. Yeah, and you can get them up to 25 feet long, and I think she's gonna be okay with just one of those if I do that.
She move around where she sections off.
Yeah, that type of thing. And I do have money in her budget yet for her building for this fiscal year. Just, I didn't think that would be an issue with you guys. If it's more money, I will get back with you guys on that. Yeah, Shane took the blinds from here over to the garage, the maintenance garage, to fit in those windows there. So we made use of those over there.
Hopefully not Susie's old one.
Yeah, probably not. It's only 3 windows, so I'm sure. Yeah, Shane's been doing really well. He's a good hard worker. Doing good. Thank you for that. Really helps. Yeah, at the last safety meeting, we talked about the Julie at the state clerks, which I agree. Voiced some concerns about the elevator key. I mean, most people don't go looking for it. It's in that trap door there, but I understand. So I did get some keys. I do have them now, and I'll send an email out. I was thinking the department, or the elected officials, the 3 at the courthouse, state clerks, Jessica, you guys want a key? And
Or I guess because it's really.
okay.
I don't want one.
Treasurer.
Anybody else? I suppose Cross should have one. He likes to have access to everything well.
I'd rather take the stairs up to the attic.
Yeah.
Kind of keep that.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. And then us 3 maintenance people will probably have one. I did get 10 keys, so.
Let's go through the list.
So anyway, those are here. I'll send an email out then.
That just gets you to
Yeah, that won't go away. I was able to finally nail down Sam with the critter control. That's the guy you had talked about, John. And we were up in the attic. We spent probably 2 hours in the attic. We got up on the roof. And that's what he does. We only found one spot where we could see just a little bit of daylight. And he said, normally, looking at the courthouse, he thinks it's right where the roof meets the top. And he said it can be just a shingle that's up.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah. So he's gonna get a proposal. He would get a lift. He'd go all the way around the courthouse and seal everything up. Wherever the gutter comes up the corner, he thought those looked like suspicious areas, where they go up to the eave there.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of times the fascias where they behind the other.
Yeah. He said also, they normally, once they do this, they'll put a trap door in so that if there's any left in there, Try and get it in a strategic location so they can get out, can't get back in. They'll take it back out again if we want. It's an extra cost to do so. A lot of people just leave it in, so that way.
Just in case.
Yeah,
He took care of our problem. We had one
Really?
several years ago.
Yeah.
Probably 15 years ago, he took care of
They
it.
followed the
There might be
road down
another
on the
guy, but it
church.
was critter control.
yeah.
Follow the rope down on the Bell Church.
Just seemed like a common sense, seemed like a good guy. It wasn't the owner, but the guy that does most of the work, I think. Sam, so. And he was gonna include cleaning up the main soiled areas from the bats also would be part of it. Not, I said, you don't have to sweep the whole floor, so we can do that. Big areas, there's, 3 or 4 of those where they can hang out. So I had hoped to have something from him today, but he's getting to that time of the year where he's busy, he said, so. Yeah, Julie's she's doing well also. She got the emphasis all working on doing some window cleaning, the lower ones anyway. Getting stuff ready for spring, the lawn equipment, and we are gonna do, now that Shane's here, we'll take care of this whole campus, and we're gonna take care of that down there too. I think we have enough manpower now. I was on that note, for the small John Deere lawnmower, I'm pricing from Sinclair, it's a leaf picker upper / thrash picker upper. They're about $500 or $600. And then pick up clippings. And Shane brought that to my attention. He likes that. Use it. I think it'll keep it looking nicer.
You like me on sweeper, you mean?
Yeah, it just blows the leaves back into the holding tank, whatever type thing. I didn't think that'd be an issue with you guys, but I wanted to mention that to you. At the end of the year, we had, Aaron was doing that, and normally we would have most leaves picked up, but we have done some, but there's quite a bit of stuff out there right now. Bear with me, I don't have my cheaters. I forgot them on this one.
I didn't know your old
Whatever, Ray.
Well, you're like.
Good to see you each time. Oh, thank you. You're not old enough to have them.
I gave them to you.
These are nice ones.
I take one.
Thanks, sir.
They help.
I see better out of these than I do mine. Thanks again.
Break him, you're old.
There's spares.
For next request, we got we ordered 30 sets of commercial. They got light, medium, heavy duty hardware, so we got those in. That's gonna be something that Shane and myself in between can work on. Once he gets the keys all passed out. He decided not to get the security ones, Kevin. I talked to him about that, but we got plenty of keys. So we will be doing that as whole buildings have keys. I get some calls from the guys, and I knew that, and I told Nick we would, because they don't like the idea that they have to get the key out every time we run out. But he likes it because he knows it's secure. These are the locks that will lock every time. You go out, you have to have a key to get back in. So, Nick wanted those.
Nick's sitting behind you, just.
Oh, there you are.
I was
Hi, Nick. There you are.
want to see how.
Yeah, I've been getting a few calls from a couple guys.
You left it alone.
I knew one of them.
I didn't even see him come
Oh, I did.
It's quiet.
It's quiet.
Still. Okay.
You can go ahead and pass their names along. But I don't.
No need.
You got a good idea.
You can probably
I
get
don't bother you with that stuff.
in. We already know.
Did you get your key?
We finally got that annex closet cleaned out then with Jessica.
Shane and I did that
Yeah,
Monday.
Shane was over to do that. Just a few odds and ends, things that we're finishing up still from that health department thing. And Shane does have, comes from construction / he's done quite a bit of painting also, so that's good. So he's gonna do a touch-up finish up there on that.
I heard nothing but good about him and Julie's.
Me also, right? Been very good.
And unsolicited comments.
Mhm. Yeah, it's mostly ice this winter. We're gonna have a little bit of salt carryover, probably 3 pallets, but last year we ran out of the good stuff, so it's something that we're gonna use, and that triple melt that we get from TNT Bean says that won't crust up for years, so a little bit of carryover there. Yeah, we got, I know for certain we have, Rick's Welding out of Parnell, Charlie's, Tiffin and Dave Dorn out of Ladora for sure are gonna bid on the grates. I've contacted them, and then we have it posted also. So, and, I did include your specs on that along with the lingo.
Yeah, it sounds good. I was just throwing.
Nope, that's good.
Sure.
That's good. They seem to like those grates at Millersburg, that new building, all the guys do too, so that's the route we went. They're galvanized dip with all the salt they have, and they don't seem to be tarnishing at all there at that location. Working together with Charlie McKenzie and Mars Glass. There's a couple windows, jail windows that were cracked, and then there's some that the panes are broke, they got, and so.
Is that from the building shifting or what?
He couldn't really come up with the reason why. The glass had a crack part, I guess I don't know, there was 2 of them. I mean, nothing that we can see, right? You know, that building's put together with those joints, so I'm sure it can move. It's got a little bit of a leeway there. But yeah, it sure seems like we spent some money there for those buildings. And while we're on that, the people that are doing the joints, I was very happy. I think Jeff was out there too. So they used that wick rope, and then they did a really good job. I was very happy with it, and that is now complete. I think you'll see the invoice come across the next financial year for that bid. I'm very happy with these guys that work on the glass. Seem to be doing very good work. On that note, probably next time I meet with you, I'll show you a proposal from McKinsey and Mars Glass. They do entrances to commercial buildings, and they sent me a 20-page proposal. We've had a lot of issues with the front door there at the office. It's been welded on and redone, and it's to the point where if it happens again, I don't know if we can repair it. So it's just something that I got a quote on, so we can decide whether we want to do something with that. I talked about sewer. I think these, yeah. There's 2 pole lights. Slade called me about Kinsey's. They're up very high. I'm gonna have Joe Mead replace those with LEDs. One is out. And we've been kind of doing that as those go out. I've been working on the Geo air conditioning parameters this time of the year. I never really talked about that, but from cooling to heating and heating to cooling, there's some things that need to be done on our end, just on the control side and the temperature settings, that type of thing. But it's all stuff that's done inside. I'll go on to some upcoming items that we have coming up. Shane and myself are going to try and get into the holding area, the LEC. Those guys have been wanting to put those LED retrofits in there. We got a couple in there as we had Dallas go by. Go bad. We'll get started on Nick's hardware when he gets done with his evaluations. Work on that in between. And I did have Shane. Shane has a good construction background, so I think he can build that partition down the tunnel between those 2 buildings we talked about. I don't think that's going to be a big thing. We get the materials and we do the work. So that's another thing coming up. And that's just between the 2 big buildings. There's an area that's got a roof there. I think maybe we talked about this, but they'd rather have 1 door to have a key for instead of 2 going back and forth. They go back and forth between those all the time. It's about a 8-foot wide area. Yeah, and we'll probably have to replace the concrete slab there. I don't know. I'm gonna talk to Slade. We might even try and tackle concrete if he's interested. He comes from the concrete background. It's a small project. We got some seeding, some great work to do out here around the courthouse. We got those small concrete projects here from the annex and in front of the courthouse to make that sidewalk wider like we did on the side on the handicapped area. And I had already contacted Larry to do that last fall, but it got too late and we couldn't get it done, Larry Pfizer. And we're gonna get started on the April filter changes. Finally decided that we're gonna just do that 3 times a year. There's some filters like here at the annex and then at REA, they're 1-inch filters. They need to be done a little more often, so we do those. The rest are 2- and 4-inch filters, so I think that's adequate. So we're going on every 4 months. And that entails quite a bit. And I talked to Shane about things that we look for, why we're doing that to prevent things down the road. And I never got a chance to talk to you, Jessica, but I was going to talk to you about and the board about this. The van is okay. It's not ideal. There's so many times where I need a truck, and Shane could use a truck to put things, bigger materials, bigger ladder in, and I never got a chance to talk to you, but I don't know what your needs were. I was just throwing around the idea about trading the van and getting the truck for both of us.
She needs the back end for the.
I need the covered back end for the van, the rides,
Well-
but I know rides well,
Yeah.
or we put the watch
Yeah, that's fine. The other thing I thought about was a topper that we could clamp on, but maybe that's not tall enough for you.
I just don't want a rough riding, because it's a rough riding vehicle.
Okay,
And
Is
I
that
need
what
a,
you put's expensive?
lower vehicle, because I'm not very tall to load.
sure, sure,
I know, right?
sure, okay. All right, well, we'll think about that some more, you know. See what the budget looks like about a used pickup or something. He does a lot of stuff where, you know, I mean, he'll be picked up for 8 to 6 and things like that. too. There's times where he can just use the truck if I don't have to have him switch vehicles, but. Yeah, so. Yeah, other than that, I don't have anything with these sewer issues. I'm gonna go to that funeral, more than likely I'll be back unless they can get the sewer thing resolved today, so.
Alright, so you're gonna let us know on that bid though, right?
Yes, I will contact him probably yet today, if not Monday, okay?
Okay.
I'll let you know on Monday. Thanks, guys, thanks for asking.
Yeah. You can check. There won't.
Whoop, there you go.
Good night. Yes. Sir Nicholas.
How are you guys doing? All right, first one, it's that time of year, middle of March. We usually do a resolution to approve embargoes on secondary roads. We used to do seal coats. Last year, we switched the resolution to say that it's at the engineer's discretion, I guess. So we're gonna start off with the seal coats. We are looking pretty good this year, but if anything goes different, we need to embargo any gravel roads. I will obviously notify you guys, but that does give us the discretion to do so.
They still in the home, but there's stuff out there like they.
I haven't seen their stuff out or heard anything.
That's, I mean, they destroyed a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, not, they fixed it up, I get it, but I mean, it's,
it was, yeah.
you can't tell how the roads are holding up.
They're holding up really well. I mean, I can think of not just them, but other people too. That we have to embark on because, but so far everything seems pretty good. I haven't heard anything moving anyway. So I guess if we can, motion to approve that resolution, or if there's anything you guys, I did attach a little map there that shows where the seal codes are on the back. That's where we'll start.
To approve resolution 2020-3-13.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 2020-3-13, authorizing weight embargoes on secondary roads. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
It's just kind of a resolution, says the engineer can do whatever.
And then they need a resolution.
The next thing on the agenda is we do have a final pay voucher for the Lake Road. What's that? Yeah.
Back at that, we're out.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's, huh? Probably two.
Two. That wasn't last year we did that.
That's STP money. So, I don't know how much is on there, if it's just retention or what, it doesn't matter. But I'll need a signature on every page since it's final.
Yep.
Oh, I think also on that one, it's taken so long because, there was some discretion in the cores. So we got a significant amount of money back from them because they had 1 or 2 bad cores. So we got like 40 to 60 grand back. So that's why it took so long to get that straight.
I move to approve final pay voucher for this. Project is listed.
Been moved and seconded to approve the final pay voucher for Pelling, STP SCO 48 through 548. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Pay voucher is approved.
The last thing that I have is accept PC starts. Accept PCC bids for patching. We sent out requests to have 60 full depth patches done, totaling 992.6 square yards. It looks like we got a pretty good response. It looks like we had 5 people reply. I did request that they be sent sealed quotes. 2 people
Send them an email.
still emailed them. That's on them, I guess. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to do. You open up the email and the price is right there. I mean,
We follow instructions.
so, I mean, if they don't, to be quite honest, if they don't care, then that's, I feel like that's on them. So, and, I mean, I'm in the business of being honest anyway, so that doesn't really matter, but you do have all of them up there.
Let's start with the 2 that are open.
Okay?
Okay, Paving Corp is a unit price of $201 square yard. Denco Highway Construction Corp. is $138 a square yard. This bid is from Iowa Civil Contracting. It is for $151 a square yard.
Right on the student.
It has to be done no later than June 12th, and the bill has to be here by June 15th. If the bill is not here by June 15th, there are liquidated damages of $200 per day. Rain and bad weather will not be considered.
This bid is from Cedar Falls Construction. This bid is $164 a square yard. This bid is from Midwest Contractors. Cedar Falls also. And their bid is $180.52.
The lowest is Denco. I will note that, I have not talked to them. Iowa Civil, when they dropped theirs off, said they would be willing to start Monday. If they can't start Monday, or if they can't do it next week, they do not want it. I told them they could, the weather was fine if they got the low bid. I mean, they were $13 off, so that would be $13,000. That was just a note, it was mentioned to me.
But that's a brief exclude.
They knew everything on bid, right?
Who?
Denco.
Yeah, they just, I don't know when they would want to start, you know, I didn't put anything on there that says the sooner you start, points will be, added. They may want to start Monday too, I don't know. Usually in the summertime or the fall, I say, your points will be based on starting date and price. For the spring, I did not. People are kind of, tight getting this in anyway, usually in that window. Denco may want to, I haven't talked to them, they may want to come in, in a week too.
Does the board have any suggestions?
Well, I guess as
Okay,
long as,
see what I'm saying?
as long as Denko gets it done within the specified time.
Time, it's, yeah, it's over $13,000. And they would accept that.
Second. We moved and seconded to accept Denco's bid. 138. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say sign. Motion carries.
Do you want this?
Yeah. All of them?
What do you
Thank you.
Could you make sure hot eggs comes in low sometimes so Kevin has to go for hot eggs?
Yeah, I could look at that.
My best shot.
Make sure it's a lot of money to get all the way.
Excellent. We had a pre-construction meeting for the bridge down on 225th. Everything went well. They plan to start construction April 1st. Or definitely, I guess. Still have not had a pre-construction meeting for the Keswick Road. Our guys have been spotting some rock this week. The tanker car culvert, both sides have now been poured as far as the header goes. Sheet piling in. Also, they're working on compaction on top and making rock out there. We did have some site inspections with IMWCA. I got that right. Hoist inspections too, down at the shop. They were inspected this week. Turns out our hoist that does the trucks, the smaller ones, road trucks, is 27 years old, probably going to be replaced. So we're getting quotes to see what it would cost. That's one of those.
Like when you pickups.
Pickups, that's a better phrase. Yeah, I said, well, get the quotes and we need to be safe there, for sure. We got a little rain earlier in the week, so a couple days it was too muddy to grade. So I had the guys go out with shovels, and wherever there was water puddled along the road, they took the shovels and made a ditch so the water gets out. That's something that we're going to focus on, getting rid of some of those handrails there so that, it's, each location is hundreds of gallons of water. Could be that we don't want that soaking down into the road. We want that off into the ditch. So, yeah, I did a lot of driving around Tuesday or Wednesday, Tuesday maybe, to identify some of those. And some of our graders do a really good job. I know out by John's Way that I thought those roads looked really good. Yeah. So, and then we also are doing cold patching. Yeah.
He's not bad, he doesn't better at all.
No, he's new. He's asking, your guys asking good questions. He's trying.
I cannot complain. Oh, he's doing a fine job.
The bridge on K Avenue is back open, I guess. I think they ended up just dumping a bunch of gravel down in there for now. If it happens again, being such a no volume road, we'll have to take a backhoe out there for a week and do some permanent work, but also we did buy, before I forget, we did buy culverts in the office. We did not do a sealed bid for those. There's 3 culvert vendors.
Places that go there.
There's 3. They email them in. Even though the prices are really tight, they've never had a problem. Connie asked me if we wanted to wait and do everything. I said, just go ahead. I mean, they all want to know what each other bid. I think 2 of them are actually the same family, or one's father, one's son, and so I think it's okay. Nobody's ever had a problem. If there's ever an issue, we'll start doing the sealed bids for them. But unless you guys want, but I think we bought $20,000 for culverts. Like I said, pre-con. We did have a full day of, or full morning of truck driver interviews, and we'll have another round on Monday. Total, I think we're interviewing 9 people.
You had about 40 applications.
40 to 50, that was a lot.
Did you think on your winner already,
We found,
or several?
yeah. No, there, even with the 4 that we've done, I would be very happy. Yeah.
Good.
Yep. So, it's been an afternoon in Corville doing the state FEMA training, lessons learned from last year, and if it happens again this year. Did attend the windmill meeting. Spending a lot of time too with some of these permits for the super loads that are coming through for the transformers. I think one permit is 380 feet long, 1.1 million pounds. So trying to coordinate some of that. I'm not writing my name off on anything that that bridge, any bridges that goes over. So I gotta coordinate that they send in a check first. And then I can authorize that to the bridge inspection people, and then we take that check money out.
I'm trying to picture something 380 feet long right on that road.
One truck being pulled by another truck with a 300 or 200 and some foot trailer being pushed by another dump truck. 3 trucks.
How many axles?
I didn't bother, I can't count that high.
How does he make a quarter?
Well, the one, he wants to go through Millersburg. There's 2 90s. That doesn't seem like a good way. I think that's the best route.
Those drivers know.
They would know.
I see him going ditches with a semi, I love that.
I've seen those loads with the loads.
That long.
The issue is they can't go down the interstate. They have to come off a rail somewhere. And then, obviously, the one, if they want to come from the south, that goes over, that bridges the English, and that's a 214 footer, which means it's got long spans. So some of these loads, the bridge can handle it. The engineer was a little worried about micro cracking, stuff that you can't see, but it will handle it. But there's no other way to bring them in. So.
I think those are escorted by DOT enforcement.
Oh, those, yeah. It doesn't take much to have to be escorted by the DOT, and these are super loads.
They're on site.
So they make sure that it's
Yeah, and so now we have to, and these are all preliminary too. All of them won't get approved or get the loans. But then they're also, have to figure out that we're on their insurance for millions of dollars because Mid-American so far being pre-approved, but we're getting there. It's taken a lot of time, but we're getting there. Did send out some letters to landowners about things that I want fixed, that they should not be blocking water. Started the annual budget in TVMS, and today we are out on Y Avenue. It's preliminary staking that box culvert. If anybody wants to come out and take a look to see what the proposed radius is, the proposed placement of the box, and then we can also go over any temporary easements and what we want to do with the right-of-way that'll be on the south side of the road that will no longer essentially be in use, how that would function. It would go back to the landowner on the north, but they're not gonna want it, but they wanna sell it. Things to all go over. And there is a water line there. It's essentially running right under where we wanna place the road. I do not have a cost yet on what it's gonna cost to move it. Won't be cheap, but also if we could find out maybe what we're thinking on what would be the deal breaker on that. If it's $10,000, we'll move it. If it's 50, well, we're gonna have to just probably live with a 90-degree corner or make it a way smaller radius. So, all things that, there's a little bit of political input, I guess, type deal. So they're staking that right now. If you want to go out there later, or anybody else. Total patch has been pushed back because he's got the flu.
When you have some time, which you need to take a look at L Avenue off F-52. There's where that, just as you, not just the flat there,
North or south?
south. And the culvert is kind of breaking off at the road. And then the ditch is retaining lots of water. It's not getting away. Down there by Wagner's Bridge is what I call it. You see, that always floods there in that field. Well,
Oh, okay, just south. There's a wood box there?
Yes. Any wood boxes we still have?
Not many. It's not very big. 4x4, 3x3. Have the public hearing next week about turning 215 to a level B. We sent out certified letters to the landowners.
Anything?
No, I haven't. Those are not by law, that's just to be nice.
Right.
I've got no feedback, I didn't know if you guys have.
No.
Thanks.
Who's out taking that?
Vinny and Ryan. So what time do you think you would wanna?
They're not gonna know.
They are, but me and Matt wanna be there. We're gonna bring like 10 sets of plans. It's easier with an overhead aerial to look at it. And then that way we can get a feel on, you know, some visual stuff, especially with somebody there, like how much do you wanna take? You know, there's more to it than just the engineering part. We can make the road and the culvert, but friendly neighbors too.
Yeah, on the original easements on the, when did they get those?
For the road itself,
Yeah. when they-
oh, I can look.
Well, that's all right, I know it was before 2000, I think. When they projected placing that first time,
Oh, did they buy easements for it then?
they signed it, you know, back then. I don't know that, they probably didn't find them, but they had it out there. Cause that was people way before the bridge on 215 or 210 down there. And that one's been in since 05, 04.
Well, if it's just an easement that they had signed off on,
Oh, I'm sure that.
either way, I'm sure that easement is void,
Yeah, that's why it's always, but it wouldn't matter anyway.
and I would be willing to repay again. I know that if you get an easement and don't use it, it goes void after a while. It's just be cheaper to rebuy it and get a
Yes.
lawyer involved.
It's all the same, it's all the same people still, so.
But, yeah, time you might wanna go, it don't matter to me, maybe like 11, 12, 1,
Yeah, dude.
noon? Okay, I might swing out there maybe a little earlier, but you give me a shot, you got my phone.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Bruce, yes. You guys have anything for open forum?
Yeah, I do. A couple questions. So I couldn't come on Monday to the bid awarding for the levy. Just wondering which bid you guys ended up going with.
The Miller one.
Yeah, no, on it was low.
Okay. And then, out of curiosity, I guess there's been some confusion on how that got mixed up, especially when Lou sat here that day, the first time
It
of.
wasn't Lou's deal, it was the engineer in Cedar Falls that handles all of our levy work.
Mhm,
They had sent out an amendment to it, and it said on it 9:30, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like
10:30.
10:30.
But the original document, the original bid said it needed to be in at 9, yeah,
Right.
though.
But the amendment.
But the addendum-
It
Sent
said
out,
10,
Did not
made
say.
it confusing.
and so it was confusing, and the engineer said that day that he apologized, that it was his fault, and so that's why we
Okay.
took it into consideration.
I guess because when Lou had sat here that day, that original bid day, and, had expressed extreme concern over the legality of opening the bids that, were turned in late, there was a lot of confusion then why this was all redone.
He wasn't aware of the
Yeah.
addendums.
And so we rejected it,
It was later that came about.
Okay.
Found out.
which is fine.
And just out of curiosity as well, do you think that put PCI and Elder at a disadvantage?
You could rebid it.
They could rebid it.
Or was unethical?
No.
No.
Other
We have
agents
to
rejected all
reject
bids.
any and all bids.
Okay. And then inspections, will there be inspections on this? I assume that that's set in place, that there will be some
On the
sort of,
levy?
yeah, on the construction of it.
Oh, yeah, that's all
Okay,
engineered and the Corps of Engineers approved and, yeah.
and they'll be inspecting it as construction goes. Okay. And then I guess my last question is in general, is it always the policy to go with the cheapest bid? Is that kind of what you guys tend to do? For anything, like even today when Scott brought that up, 11,000, you know, it sounds great, 11,000 less, but that is concerning that, you know, why is he able to do that so much cheaper? Will they cut corners to cut costs down?
The lowest responsible bid. we're supposed to accept.
You guys are-
Unless there's a reason you.
Unless there's a reason, we gave Scott the out that if there was something that he wasn't uninformed on or something that he did not pertain to, that he was, yes,
Okay,
that's how.
There's gotta be a reason.
okay. I think that's all my questions.
Bruce?
Sure. Did we still need to go through communications and meetings? Or should I just go right in?
Just do yours because it's on the agenda and then we'll go start with that.
Um,
Fine.
let's see. This looks like I took a map of Iowa and colored it with a crayon, but actually someone else colored it with a crayon and gave it to me.
Something is the coronavirus, man.
I don't judge for colors.
Yes, I do have an extra one for. My coloring would have looked approximately like that. So I just want to give you some update on some things going on, a little bit of the latest and go into the combining of regions. We have Iowa Workforce Development. We have quite a few of them set up across the state. And due to Department of Labor contacting the state of Iowa, there's a lot of, it's not just a mapping issue, there's a lot of things that need to be done. For example, Kirkwood in our region was getting a lot of funding and budgeting authority when they never should have. That's something they got written up right, the whole state written up years ago, it's being adjusted. So it now has to go through, there's kind of a structure, there's the CEO board for the region, there's the board of directors for the region, and the funding will now in the future have to pass through the CEO board to Kirkwood, where it was ultimately chosen. Another minor thing was we think we did find a good person. It's not finalized in Des Moines. It's very familiar with the whole process of getting in compliance with all these rules that should have been in place before. I think we're going to work with her, Heather Garcia. It looks like we brought one or two people from the auditor's office in Johnson County in their meeting that they will be going to be the fiscal agent for the region. They just had a few questions on it. We wanted to do it. You want to do it? Sorry. The last chance to speak of this. But
I think she spoke.
but they were questioning, you know,
Still
like,
working on the hard shit, sorry.
it's,
Pretty shit.
it's mainly their questions were like, how much, a lot of it is just check disbursement, how much per disbursement will it be? It will be $25 and what will it be? We're doing a lot of stuff, regardless of the merger. We need new bylaws. We got to send out a survey to all the board members to see if they were compliant with these rules. If you have to have so many Democrats, so many Republicans, so many business owners, so many some adjustments there. And ultimately, there's going to be 28E agreements specifying all this between the region and the counties, and maybe between counties. We'll also be able to continue maybe Kirkwood for a few more months, but some of them have to get rid of it. Now on to the region thing. Copy my own map, but we are in Region 10. Region 6 has indicated a desire to merge with us, and it seems to make a lot of sense. They have 4 counties.
Hard and stretches clear.
Yeah, and we've checked with them. Because it's going to become a bigger geographical area, will there be any problem in attending regional meetings and so forth? And they said no. So we do that, although some of the meetings can sometimes be by phone and other things like that. Yeah, it's starting to stretch out the region. And the advantages we see to combining is you're not going to need 2 fiscal agents, you're not going to need 2 boards. Boards can be, I think, 17 to 21 people or more. You're not gonna need 2 sets of staff and advisors, 2 contracting groups that set up arrangements with Kirkwood or similar businesses like that. Then it comes down to budget. You understand why the other region wants to merge with us, because their total budget for those 4 counties is gonna be $377,000. Ours would be a little over $1,039,000. So we just feel like there's so many efficiencies to be gained by having one of everything instead of 2. As long as everybody in all these counties agrees that we can work together, get in together for the meetings, and things won't be a problem. It looks pretty good. So the total budget, if you combine both regions, you have Region 10, Region 6, it will be called Region 4 if it happens. And like I said, the median one, 10 minus 6 is 4, so it makes sense. It should be added actually. 1.433 million. These numbers came from Iowa Workforce Development at the state level, and we've been bugging them for a while to get estimates on all these changes in the regions, how much would we get. So we feel like that gives us a lot more money. A lot less money will be sunk into administrative costs. A lot more money can be used to actually help people find jobs, employment knowledge, job training, things like that. So the way we're doing it is every board in our region, or every county in our region, every county in Region 6 has to agree to this to proceed on a combination. My recommendation is that we do. We're having meetings every week. I'm trying to, we all are studying and learn as much about it as I can. We think there's a lot of efficiencies, and we'd like to do that. So, does anybody have any comments or questions?
So Hardin and Marshall would be still in this region.
Yes.
And
Hardin,
I'm
Marshall.
surprised they don't want to go in with, they don't, Marshall.
Well, there was some talk even of Cedar was considering going in a different region, and they decided not to.
I was gonna say, could the counties decide to go, or do the regions have to stay together?
The counties can decide to go with another region, but then that kind of brings everything to a halt as far as the process goes too. But we're fortunate in the sense that every county in both of the regions is pretty much wanting to do this, at least from the people I know so far.
I think the original regions, they must be set up that they were the community college areas.
Yes, it has a lot to do with that.
Which is why Kirkwood shouldn't have been involved in it.
And some of the regions, it's really, they presented all this,
It used to be called Area 10.
I know.
they presented it to state level, and there were plans to have 2, 3, and 4 regions in the entire state. And there was one really crazy region that went from very northwest corner of Iowa to southwest, closer to one. And those people were literally gonna have to travel, 250, 300 miles in some cases to go to the meeting. So,
Even the bigger counties are having an issue with everybody coming in, because they don't wanna have a weighted vote system in it.
What's that again?
Is that right?
Yes, you did.
The larger counties don't have like a weighted vote system, do they want more votes.
No, they don't. They do not. It's pretty close to Benton population, but then, yeah, you've got Lynn and others.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Like,
Johnson.
as Department of Corrections, it could be a weight vote, if something calls for it.
Right.
Like Lynn and Johnson have all votes.
Now, the budget for the entire region is based on, population, and it's tallied up for the county, not like the region. So, yeah, we've been very fortunate. I mean,
I think it's beneficial to have team and how she can.
yeah, and some of these people are new to me, but, getting to know supervisors from, and it's Pat, I think, from Johnson County, very helpful, very cooperative. We usually meet at one of their county office buildings. And so I guess I'd like to make a motion, if it's okay. I'd like to make a motion that this board approve moving forward with mergers of Region 6 into Region 10, for this region of Iowa Workforce Development.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor of combining workforce development region 10 and 6,
Giving our approval.
giving our approval to it. Say aye.
And
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very, very much for the time, and I'll let you know the others.
Who do you have on Lynn County on your?
Well, that's a bit of a problem. The biggest county has been regularly meetings. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Who's it supposed to be?
I can't tell you the name offhand, I don't have to look. I think they might have come to one like out of 4 or something.
Well, they're, when they went down to 3, they probably.
Yeah, no, they went from 5
They're
to 3.
overworked now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they'll get a raise.
You may want to go back to 5 now. But thank you all very much.
Thank you. We'll take a recess till 10:15. Yeah.
They drove Susie away, it looks like.
Yeah, I know, they.
Back to skating rink temporarily.
Pardon?
Back to skating rink temporarily.
Yes,
And
it's
then,
got-
Just for now.
it's got a little blaze of,
Yeah.
on it.
how are you, Susan?
Tired. Mine's not.
I have nothing.
And the doctor's mind, I've been reading them on the referrals.
They're busy now.
Well, now they are, yeah. They weren't when I started.
I'm gonna make my college drug testing season. a little
Oh, they did,
shorter.
on the masters. Yeah, I wasn't going to any of the stuff, so.
You weren't?
There were several people that were going to go to the wrestling.
Oh, yeah, there's some bad folks.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine what the, what's the big brand is like?
Can you imagine the wrestlers that are seniors?
Yeah, we got a shot at winning this.
Yeah. Baseball.
And the Brazilian president has,
Of course he did, because his sidekick had.
after he met with Trump,
Yes.
a few days ago.
Just do a virtual handshake.
I liked Trump's comments the other day, the Irish prime minister, that it's kind of awkward for a second there when you don't shake hands.
Right?
He is
Yeah. Canadian, you know, that has it too. How are we doing?
all right.
Cheers.
I was surprised that St. Patrick's Day parades.
Yeah.
Drunk, slobbering, puking people are at that
Good description. It'll be the same one that was still in the bars that night.
parade. Unbelievable. Yeah, well, I'm not going.
Tell us how you really feel about
I
it.
do know some people that live for St. Patrick's Day, I mean.
I do.
That's their big holiday.
But I'm not going.
Said
Time
no
for
German
holiday.
Yeah, Kevin, a big day for you?
That's a much.
I almost got Irish blood.
Actually, I do.
Some of us leprechauns got the day off.
He's nearly a redhead. You think he doesn't have some sort of Celtic blood?
My grandparents up were McCarters, how's that?
Your what?
I have grandparents on the one side of McCarters. Is that Irish enough?
No, it's
No.
or Scottish.
It's Irish.
50-some%.
I'm like 25% Irish.
Mine were for Fitzgerald's.
I don't know if it's traditional. You're Irish.
But I don't have much Irish in me at all, actually.
So what's the American time now? Do you come to that?
It's awesome.
That's free up a couple hours a day.
I know. I got paid.
You have to, well, your cost, you were getting covered for a month.
Unless
Yeah, that's what I love.
dying or something. I think somebody said they, Oliver Bob's from work.
Yeah, because I had to take it, like a check out at second and they had to get the front door and hand it to me.
Slide it under.
Yeah, the secretary, what do they call it, administrative assistant. For the school.
You can't get in the system inside.
I don't know, I got at the door, it's at the top, the maintenance desk. Let's face it, the check is up.
Is the Northland Securities guy coming again soon?
Why, you want caramels?
You need new pen?
Or
Oh, I want a
pens?
pen.
No. I'd rather have the caramel than a pen.
I already killed one.
No.
This is the only one I have left.
Was it blue or black?
It's blue.
No big-
I got one.
Yeah,
It was one bank, and I think there's really good ones now.
I don't know.
I mean, I like
Concentrate
Keystone's
on the
bank,
cards.
or Keystone Bank pens too.
I used to concentrate on the pens, but the caramels distract me, so.
They always let me steal them.
I got access to
The
it.
caramels?
No, at the bank.
Oh,
Except
Well, they always
that,
have-
and it was raining, was it that coronavirus meeting the other day?
yes. Oh, it blew up on your head. Yes.
One of these days,
You're right.
my whole hands were covered in.
Oh.
So
So you should give, well, the food,
then I did the, practice the hand washing.
yeah, roll up, it's like Smurf.
So, meeting back to order, and we'll do communications. Since I forgot. And we did that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start. We had a fairly short veterans meeting, Veterans Commission. And Jennifer's been asked to, we're not sure exactly what it is, but there's the Essence of Life Hospice in Madison. They want to work with her, recognizing veterans, giving out some awards and so forth. There is a session sponsored by the VA loans, basically, that's going to be in the Marino Library. Help veterans qualify for loans. Let's see, she'll be gone a lot of next week for some training with county representatives for 1 to 3 days. And she had 228 contacts during the month of February. Veterans, which is pretty extensive. It continues to gradually increase, although it seems to be workable within her hours. So, and not a whole lot else really, for sure.
I went to a coronavirus meeting on Monday. And I had dates like from all kinds of places, like
Yeah.
May this week, and
I think we had, what, 33, I think, counted people there.
had a meeting with, the health department had a meeting, or the health board had a meeting with all the, right at all the schools, all the nursing homes,
Hospital was there, hospital hosted it.
and, miners, several of those were there. And, law enforcement, tax services. And mostly it was just a meeting to start out, to make sure everybody knew that there was some engagement with this and that got an email group together that regular updates are being sent to. And you guys all know that everybody's sending out updates right now. I've got public safety and the White House and And it's still this huge unknown. You know, a lot of people think people are overreacting, some people think they're underreacting, and the truth is, nobody has a clue, so.
The biggest thing they wanted the public to know was not to go to the hospital or the doctor if you have the flu and run a temperature and coughing, because once you're exposed to all the healthcare workers, then they're quarantined. And we're limited on staff, ambulance wise, nursing home wise, hospital wise. You start pulling doctors out that have to be, and nurses that have to be quarantined for 2 weeks, then we get a pinch pretty quick. So that was probably one of the biggest takeaways, other than the normal flu.
That's, you know, changing minute by minute, so.
May have any other things? We got 1 minute. Sure. Get her done.
Four of them actually.
Four, I think.
Denver County, Roundup Restaurants. Outdoor, the management.
Motion to approve.
Slate,
Second.
been moved and seconded to approve the liquor licenses for the coordinated by the auditor. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So we have the sub-recipient agreement, amendment number 3.
For the watershed,
It's just, simply that's why it's your thumbnail.
It's, I
Just,
think it's for that additional money that we're going to ask for.
I move to approve.
Second,
it's been moved and seconded to approve CDBG 13 MDRRI -006 agreement. Agreement amendment number 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Watershed Resilience Grant, draw request number 32.
motion to approve watershed grant draw request number 32.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Watershed Resilient Grant draw request number 32. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, Sarah. Yep. American Energy.
Just bring your chairs up, please.
I am sorry.
All right, what do we got for today?
And a much uglier version of Sarah, we'll be talking first. I think the first part is just a little reminder in history of what we've been through in the past. When we signed the agreement regarding the projects between what was the Diamond Trail Wind Energy LLC, Mid-American, and County regarding setbacks and other things in that agreement. As part of that requirement, in that decommissioning agreement, there was a requirement for a financial assurance associated with the decommissioning agreement that we signed. So at the time, that Diamond Trail Wind Energy LLC owned the project. Since then, Mid-American owns the project.
As part of that decommissioning agreement, there was a provision in there, specifically in there to address a potential waiver for that, for rate regulated utilities. Someone with more financial wherewithal than what like an LLC would have that was just set up to manage that specific project and not a lot of financial backing there. So Mid-American obviously does have that financial wherewithal. We had submitted that letter in there showing proof of that. And then, as part of the decommissioning agreement, the county has the ability to waive that if the owner is a public utility regulated in the state of Iowa and has the financial wherewithal to do so. Most recently, this has been common practice in all the counties we've been in. We've got projects in about 30 counties right now. And most recently, Palo Alto County granted us a similar waiver, and a lot of counties actually have that built into their ordinance where you get that automatic waiver if you are a public utility regulated in the state and have that financial wherewithal. So we did attach, proof of us being that regulated utility in Iowa, something from the IUB, and then some credit ratings from some nationally recognized credit rating firms, S&P and Moody's, showing we're several levels above investment grade there, along with some other stats, about our we've got over $19 billion in assets. We're a Berkshire Hathaway Inc. company, so we do have the financial wherewithal to pay for it when it comes. And just a reminder too that inside that decommissioning agreement, if our financial wherewithal changes over time, you have the right to request, that financial security if the waiver is granted. Or, if we were to transfer the project, which we have no plans to, we've owned every project we built since 2004, but if, the county has to approve that transfer and can request that from the new owner, any financial security. So currently, we have the financial wherewithal to pay for those decommissioning costs as outlined in the agreement, and we are requesting that waiver just because, we feel it's unnecessary expenses for us because we do have the financials to pay for that. And ultimately, our customers have to pay for, all the costs we incur. So we're trying to, save them from some unneeded expenses that we feel. So we're asking for that waiver of financial security. If things change, like there's a lot in the agreement, you can request that in the future and information related to our company financials. Hopefully that our financial wherewithal does not change, and we plan to keep it where it's at. But
What additional costs do you have by having the financial insurance?
Yeah.
What does it result in or not result in?
yeah, so what would our payment for that be?
Yeah,
Yeah,
how
so
does
we'll
that work? Yeah.
Yep, so we'll have, depending on what it is, there's different levels in their bonds or letters of credit, but it'll be probably anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 every year, that we'll have to pay just to keep that in place.
It's like a guarantee. Performance
Yeah,
bond.
perform surety, I can't remember the exact bond, but yeah, surety bond or letter of credit or something like that, yeah. And we do think there are other protections in here, like I stated, that if something were to change, in the future with the project owner or our financials, you have the right to request that. But currently, we have very strong financials and are regulated in the state.
Does the board want to take action on that?
I wonder if do we need to check with the county attorney to see what the impacts could not be done.
He's sitting there, but
Yeah.
I talked to him yesterday.
Okay.
I don't see any benefit to us backing out of it. I understand your position.
Yeah, to us, it's just unneeded expenses that, our customers have to pay for. So, when the project was signed, I touched on this at the beginning, it was Diamond Trail Wind Energy LLC, and I would understandable if the county wants some financial security from them because they don't have a lot of, financial wherewithal or hardly any. They're single purpose set up to manage that one project where we've got, billions of dollars of assets and that financial wherewithal and the ability to pay, for any decommissioning that happens. So it's just unnecessary expenses we don't want to pass on to our customers.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but I don't think the board is interested in this.
Is there a reason that I could help answer? Is it because you don't think we can pay for it? Or I'm just curious the reason for that.
You know,
That was part of the.
it's part of the original agreement, you know.
Yeah, I would also remind you that part of the original agreement had that in there with if there was a reason in there for a rate regulated utility with financial wherewithal written in there, you had to pick one in the state, it would be Mid-American. So I'm just curious why that was put in there in the first place, if it wasn't reasonable for us to kind of request that.
And I do think it's reasonable that you requested, I just think that from our side of it, when we signed up, I mean, we start amending the agreement, and where do we go next? So, I mean, that's my personal feeling, if you guys have different feelings, let me know. Do you have anything new on that? I mean,
No, but I think you need to either vote to
Approve
approve the
it.
waiver or to reject it.
Okay.
So that they know where they're at.
do I have a motion from anyone?
We need a motion to stay with the agreement we already have.
No. To reject their proposal of
To reject that request.
their request, the waiver of the bond.
Make a motion that we do not waive the bond.
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that we don't approve the waiver of the bond of the decommissioning agreement. Is there any other discussion on it? Hearing none, you want to take a roll call?
Gary,
Or, I vote yes, the not grant waiver.
Gary Hirsch,
Abstain.
Okay,
Adams.
Yeah.
Susan. Motion carried.
Motion carries. Okay,
I guess work with Lou then to get that
thank
put
you.
in place.
Construction updates.
Yeah, so the project has been going very well. This past Tuesday, we did have a landowner pre-construction meeting. We had about 117 people show up, just the information of what they'll be seeing out there, and just kind of our presentation of what's to come. As we mentioned, last time we were here, we have 41 of the total 77 foundations done. Starting April 1st, we will begin foundation work on the remaining 36 foundations. We have been already placing rock on county roads as needed due to this warm winter that we've had, so we're trying to maintain that. Starting April 1st, we will begin to put more and more rock down on a need-by basis. We will also be placing rock in front of homes as needed prior to doing the dust control for our county road agreement. Again, kind of April 1st is our big start date to kind of all these things to start rolling. We'll have county maintainer graders, water trucks will all be started up after that April 1st. We will be expecting the turbine component deliveries beginning in May, and that should be completed by the end of August. Cranes will start to arrive in May. We'll start erecting the tower components early July. Another item you'll see is a county road radius widening on our public and private land to start. That's to allow the trucks to deliver the turbine components. Those improvements will start after April 1st, and they will be controlled so that only construction traffic at the time will use those. And then finally, our collection lines, we are at over 50% complete. We did not have to necessarily shut down for months due to the weather, so we are way over ahead of schedule on that front.
What else? So the big cranes,
Big cranes, they will be showing up in May. And there will be,
how many of them is there gonna be?
there'll be a mixture of 5 throughout the entire process. Not all 5 will be necessarily on site at the same time, but they will obviously all be working different sites. There will be smaller cranes to be assisting those, so just a mixture. But 5 big cranes, kind of staggered as the project goes.
So give me a projection, like the first windmill will be up in May.
Should be June, middle of June. If everything goes to plan as far as deliveries.
Any other new hiccups? Road wise or
None today,
construction wise or?
none today. Everything's been working really nicely and working out well, so we have a lot of luck and make a lot of extra progress we might not have made if we had a cold winter.
Does anybody have any questions for them on anything? Crickets, none? Do you have anything, Sarah?
Going forward, did you, I'm trying to remember, we weren't here quite monthly, but every other month, I think, during the previous construction season, did you want updates again on that schedule or whatever you would prefer?
Okay, what do you want?
Monthly, whatever constructed. Can't say monthly during summer.
Yeah.
And maybe have a bigger meeting with Nick on a regular
Correct.
basis,
Yep.
so he'll also have that information
How
on a more
are you
routine
typically
basis.
with Nick or?
Yeah, it'll be monthly, so our next meeting with Nick is March 25th.
Okay.
So that'll be prior to kind of bringing everybody back on site. Yep.
Good. Anybody else have anything else, Mark?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Recess till 10:45. Reserve. All right, you're in recess, Lou.
I just wanted to get it over here early so I can see you.
Yes,
Oh, that's-
I know that's true.
You're not the only person I've ever heard that from.
Really?
First truthful
I'll
one
bet
you
that's
ever
the
heard.
first one you heard.
Huh?
I'll bet that's the first one you
Yeah,
heard.
you are.
I'm gonna start charging your rent on that.
Well, take it with you. They like exploding things.
I cough all over it, and I leave it there.
Ouch. Come on.
Canceling baseball, canceling Masters,
What? You really canceled the match?
you know, they delayed it.
Really? No, that's not till, about this first week in April.
Thank you.
They just announced it.
That big expert said it'd all be over in 2 days.
That is on the bids.
Cancel our April honors.
I saw
Yeah.
I can see that one.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all
Older
older
people
people.
are
Yes.
Western Viking.
A lot of Vietnamers that they are original. I did a press release for that yesterday.
How many do they have?
We hope to reschedule these.
They have 4 scheduled for this year.
We have 4 scheduled. We have another one May 15th. We're not session right now.
Well, it's too bad I
We'd
was
like to do it
able to
again.
play that NCAA.
The worst thing is
Yeah.
they played the first round of the tournament, so they were already out anyhow. If we wouldn't have played that, at least I could have said, well, this would have been their year to made it run.
You could have said that you only had 19 losses instead of 20.
I know, but
No, that would have sounded a lot better. 12.
we were on a run, we're gonna make a run through the tournament, believe, we'll never know that.
Yeah.
Can't say that because we lost right away.
Yep.
A friend of mine, I was telling them, he had tickets to the Final Four and the Masters.
Well, I spent money, I paid for tickets to have premier seating and free drink tickets and food down at Riverside too.
Oh, to sit and watch? I saw, they still advertised it last night, nobody cared.
And instead of non-refundable, we'll see. They better be refunding my money or I'll.
Sure.
Riverside.
Sure.
Yeah. I might even bring a class action for all of the 100 people they were trying to get to sign up for that.
So what time we been waiting on you?
I will miss that, that's a fun time to watch.
Have you done this before, sat down and watched it?
I usually go out to Vegas, but this year I thought, well, save the plane fare, go to Riverside, it's the same thing.
So when you do that, is like all the games are going to like tons of TV?
Yeah, they do it right, they said that's the way they do it in Vegas, they said they're gonna use the event center in Riverside. And I assume you have a number of TVs, so all the games are on at the same time. And then for $64, you get better seating, free food all day, and 3 drink tickets.
It's really kind of fun.
Yeah. The same as being in Vegas, when you go to Vegas, you sit in the casino and watch the game. The nightlife might be a little different.
Right. So my oldest son, he has it set up so he'll take all the TVs throughout this house where he lives and put them all in one room. Got a big one in the middle, then he puts all the ones on the side so he can watch. Oh, yeah. And that way, I can click between them, which one I got the volume on.
Yeah, I'll miss that. I enjoy that.
No, the March Madness, that's, I mean, even if you're not a big sports fan, it's always fun to root for an underdog.
It is. You can watch a lot of games. You know some of the teams.
The buzzer beater shot. The big upsets, unfortunately, Ohio State's been important.
I don't know, I can't imagine how much money that cost in those places that would have hosted those events.
Oh, I'm thinking like Omaha, they're gonna have empty stadium and,
What about like
80,000 people come in.
Well, March Madness, what about the concession people that party on it all the
Yeah.
time?
But I wonder if like the
Hotel,
hotels
hotel.
and stuff, if they'll go ahead and make them still pay because they got their credit card.
Some of them won't, because I've been getting notices on my phone that, they're gonna, you get cancellations.
That's a big event in Vegas. Now, in fact, as much as ever, it's that week.
Never been there, so I've been on a bucket list. Someday I'm gonna go for it.
You've never been to Vegas? What would you do there?
You should do one.
I just wanna go through, I wanna see the water shows and
You
like
can
to
be
see
like
one
that.
show and.
I was checking in at the Las Vegas Hilton one time, there was this guy up in front of me checking in to the hotel.
Oh.
And he had some old coupon that expired, and he thought they should still give him money on the room. He argued for about 5-10 minutes, and then he left, and then it was my turn. The guy that was registering people said, I know guys just like him, they come to Vegas with a $10 bill and 1 pair of underwear, and they never change either one.
Yeah.
Hey, I've never been there. That's all thing too,
Yeah.
You should go once.
I just like to see the lights, the
It's fun just
people.
to watch people.
It is worthwhile.
I don't wanna spend a week there, but it's 2 days.
My
ago.
jokes in the newspaper, I expect a little royalty.
For what? No.
If you start repeating my jokes in the newspaper.
Susie, as soon as I hear a funny one, I'll let you know.
Straight to you.
So the state basketball game yesterday, they could only have 100 people.
That's today.
Yeah.
Just starting today.
Well, it's okay, Clear Creek was there yesterday and there was no lemon, so they brought everything back.
And all the people was too.
Yeah,
I'm going to dance at games on that here.
yes, we are.
There can only be you can only have 2 spectators per dancer. You're not supposed to sit next to each other.
Who, the 2 people or the other people?
It says nobody's supposed to sit next to each other.
I hope it's a big party.
It's Stevens Auditorium, but still, it's like, well.
They're not gonna set back or anything.
I usually smell stuff.
Why don't you put
I
one
smell
of those
something.
things on, go
Here's what I
away.
saw.
Tempting.
Yeah.
And ask
They
them
may
to sit
not,
next to people.
they may not have a costume. Did you see that?
I
What
see
can they smell?
well, they had a junior high dance March 20th. They canceled that. They
Is
didn't
the
say,
place still on?
I don't know.
They canceled their dance, but
They
they're all
canceled their
together.
junior high dance March 20th. They didn't say why, but
That's weird.
They're always together anyway, what difference does it make?
Well, that's the same thing with those basketball teams, you know, they're always together. Those kids, just because they're not playing a game, they're not gonna go home.
They're not practicing? Right.
They're not gonna go to a separate room, they'll be together. So
Think how Fred
I can,
Waterberg spilled it.
I can understand not letting any fans into the place, but the basketball players are all,
Yeah, that's my, it's my environment.
yeah.
Well, they canceled that basketball game in the NBA the other night at halftime. It's like, they're
Yeah,
already
okay,
there.
they're already there. If anybody's contaminated, it's happened by now. I'll be interested to see what
Well,
happens.
it'd be nice, as that guy was right, he said 2 days, weeks, it should plateau.
Yeah, that's a letter to the day of their local.
It'd be nice if it was 2
We've
weeks.
seen some sunny warm weather. I don't care a lot.
You don't cancel a game halfway through.
Congress,
Making money.
Congress is gonna throw money at the
Oh my
project.
God, yes, because that fixes everything.
Yeah,
I wondered if Congress should be allowed to meet in.
Well, there are a bunch of them, yes.
I really thought that Congress and the US Senate
Quit.
should adjourn for about 2 years.
I thought they should in Des Moines too, but
Yeah,
they're held back for election. They're
I'm
staying in session.
sure somehow we can get along without it.
Yes, don't write a new law, we'll be fine.
So they're using this trying to pass something where they can meet electronically and then they would never have to be in Washington. So they can be home with their constituents.
No, they hate that.
Yeah, how do you come back to the constituency?
Well,
I don't mind that noise in the ocean in the background.
that's why Trump was moving stuff out of DC.
It'd be kind of hard to debate that way, but I guess they never listen to one another anyway,
Well, did you see in the coronavirus bill that they put out? It had stuff about abortion in it. It's like, well, there you go. I
Of
mean,
course, they always had those.
well, I know.
That happens on both sides.
Oh, whatever, stop it. Bernie.
They didn't have anything in there about sending money to the churches.
To where?
I think there's a lot.
Or just cough.
I just been coughing for
Yeah, I've been coughing
for 4
for
weeks.
that.
Whatever he's got,
I
Walsh.
heard you earlier and you didn't cover your mouth.
Ever since he went to Cattle Show in Des Moines, he's been that way. Yeah.
You wanna be real careful about touching the top of your head too, John, with this going around.
Oh, yeah, because germs settle.
Just,
My mom coughed in my face a couple of weeks ago or a week ago and I was like, your husband works at the airport, can you not do that to me, please? Where did those Egypt people fly in at?
I laugh at some of the people that have been quarantined, their kids go to school. I'm like, well, how is that beneficial?
Well, I have asthma, so I would appreciate, and an immune system of a flea. So I'm really.
Well, I don't know, some please I think are better off with you.
Probably. So I prefer not to get sick. I got whooping cough once. That was fun. I have a tendency to not go to the doctor, so that ended in pneumonia.
yeah, that was a good thing.
Yeah.
You showed them, didn't you?
Well, I was immunized for it. Who the hell would think I had whooping cough? That woman coughing on me in Casey's really pissed me off. Little did I know it was gonna end 3 years or months of my life.
Could you please write a letter in a paper about it? So everybody knows.
So cover your damn mouth. That's all I'm saying. I've had a whooping cough booster now, so hopefully I won't have it again. And you really do whoop.
That could be pretty serious.
I feel better now.
I couldn't hear you, how's it?
I couldn't hear you over Kevin's cough.
Yes, it's week 5.
Yes, it is actually. When did you go?
We
February?
really don't have it though, because you got it earlier than this.
Yeah, I'm still alive.
We can change that.
The more we talk about it, the more it costs, so let's just keep doing it.
Just a scratch in the back of my throat.
That's all right, that won't keep your hands off your face, those people don't have allergies.
Couldn't do that again.
I feel like it's a read.
I didn't
You
die
could
for
have done that
that
if you tried.
I know.
Oh, sorry, I know she gave you another one.
one. Wait, over to you?
Yeah, where's that suction cup thing? Throw that at his mouth, see if it sticks.
Wait, I touched it, right?
I'm waiting for the top of your head.
Bring it.
I wonder why it comes up here.
What? For the entertainment.
Unfortunately, he didn't say we released this, that's why he's playing.
You had nothing else to do, so you didn't want to.
Why that thing to the-
Jim,
You said you got everything done the other day when I typed it.
yeah, I'll show that out.
Was that-
No.
Well, you had
This was a
to
good day, so there was.
keep getting texts about what I was supposed to pick up, now I picked a better snack at school.
It's probably irritating. Right?
She has different snack.
You wipe these tables every night?
I'm sure that the cleaning crew does, yes.
Hey, while we're,
They love their cleaning.
not discussing anything.
Whoa.
What is the PCC, what exactly is that?
Let's patch in the highways for it.
Just like patching with cement then, or what?
Concrete.
So they cut out the chunks and
Take it out.
they put out the loose cement.
Oh, that's what they do when they take out those giant chunks of road? That's so annoying.
And then it goes out.
It's more annoying when your car drops in the hole.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot less annoying when they're done.
People have done
Oh, you mean,
All right.
fall in the hole, they cut it out?
Well, I Googled and all I came up with is blank roads and
that. Can't believe everything you Google.
Yes, you can.
And
It's on the internet, it's true.
I talked to a lawyer, he told me
I
that.
spent a lot of time in college figuring out what was legit and what wasn't.
Oh, this is really-
Yes, that's.
Was this your last thing for the day?
Yes, you
I
are.
wondered why you were looking at that clock.
Save the best for last.
Yeah.
Cause I got snacks I gotta pick up at the grocery store.
Oh, really? Healthy snacks?
Take better snacks, yes. Why?
You wanna pick a better snack than what they're gonna eat?
They're gonna be pre-wrapped, you're gonna have to wrap, you're gonna have to touch it.
Just the pickup.
Okay, so if you call the meeting back to order, I'll move to the drainage district.
Alright. And we're there. Let's call the meeting back to order.
Motion to drainage district.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Yeah, in Drainage District, Mr. Lou.
I've given you a copy of the contract for the construction of the levee improvement rights. Brian Miller excavating has been executed by Brian Miller excavating. We've already approved at our public hearing that we had some time ago, the postponed the contract, but I do need a motion authorizing the chair to execute the contract between the Drainage District and Brian Miller excavating LLC.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Does it say when it's gonna start or
Huh?
does it say when it's gonna start or?
In the contract, yes, he's gonna meet with our engineer and also start. I think the contract provided between the 10 days.
All those in favor say aye.
You
All those
probably
opposed?
could go out. and
Go out and what?
help. Take your shovel, go out there.
Let me get to the dog.
You can have a little.
Really?
It's been moved and seconded to go out of Drainage District. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We're out of Drainage District. Damn it.
This is your turn. Did you leave?
Second.
Who's gonna sign this? Contract? You?
Was Kevin's motion seconded?
Steve?
Okay. All those in
Is that
favor say
engineer the
Last
aye.
project engineer? Or,
Cost.
huh?
The guy that's been doing last year.
What's his last name?
Oh.
Check it out.
Boston.
Lawson?
Oh, it's with the C or K.
See.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's his company? Okay.
The most consecutive period, all the favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. 10:47.
Just wanted to distinguish between ours engineer and the.
I'm gonna take Tom downstairs, make the original.
They have to be a special engineer for this.
What?
They have to be a special engineer for that.
Have to be special for that?
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. If you can find some places open, go have fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Go on dancing, Lou, if you wanna go.
There you go.
I know you love it.
I'll probably miss that next one.
All right. Well, I know how you love it.
I know.
Yeah. I haven't danced since 96.
Don't forget to go
Well,
out.
yeah, yeah, that's across the room. Oh, yeah.
You're out of school?
Yeah. She didn't go. She left for one minute.
Oh. Sounds like she's sick.
No. She may be, but she's gone. That was fun. Are you going to fly? See that bridge or not? That Vegas?
When's that?
Noon. She said.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'm trying to get the cab check so we can cancel this.
Mary's hands on that. It'll be huge if they do.
Huge.
Oh, yeah, they'll have it. So there's others that can cancel.
Yes.
I don't think we're canceling.
The president will address the nation in 3 days.
Awesome.
I didn't listen to the last one, but again today.
Yeah, what range, is it 2 today or 1?
I was at 2 too, so I can't think I gotta wait.
3 p.m. That's the Homeland Security.
How should I cancel my hotel reservation?
Yeah, cancel my 6:05 last night for me.
Kim, do you guys take us to the fair next weekend?
I think we're planning on
It's gonna be a good show, I think.
It'll be good weather.
I don't know, what about the weather, already?
That's probably not heard about that yet. Usually it's about the pictures.
Well, there you go, I got an email from Schwann's.
It'll be good, because there's a lot of.
Schwann's guy saying that.
Last
no
couple of years,
touch
the
delivery.
shows us some people on the other directions. All those shows that like dropped out or quit.
So maybe.
No, what?
I would,
Oh, just have
He
it.
brings mine in, puts it in the basement and the freezer and everything.
Oh.
Is this the best of us?
This is
No,
called-
it's
this
just
is
like
called-
an early region,
yeah, they call it the spring thaw.
spring thaw, that's it.
And not very many years I remember it being fall.
Yeah, snow or anything could
I
happen.
suggested a couple times to change it to spring food.
Spring break.
And 2 years ago, we had a snowstorm.
Yeah, that's that one,
Yes.
it's so hard, so hard on the spring thaw.
Also, they were gonna draw the pit, right in the trailer. Did you ever call, yeah, we. I forgot to tell you one second. I'm sure it was way too busy to finish.
Yeah, no. I will, don't worry. I will.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Take care of it.
Hey, see you later.
Have fun at dance.
Well, yeah. We'll have to call or text or something, we can't hear each other.
Right. That's what the kids do, sitting on the couch anyway.
It's true.
So, who was the, did you, Dick, you the weeks of the choir meeting tonight
Pardon?
at the school?
Yeah,
Was that packed in there?
last night, no, it wasn't so bad. I mean, it was a lot of people there, there, but there was,
There's parents that
but
were
there were
talking
people
about
sitting side by side.
not coming.
Yeah, very good concept.
I still really think it's good if we don't allow a lot of that.
I know some dancers have already said they're not
I was supposed to do the English Valley's Carnival, and I think they canceled it.
Like, middle school or?
Yeah, grade school, games and stuff.
We always do that in there a lot.
They said the board meeting, so they probably didn't have that.
Hey, I'm dying anyway.
That's what I do with preschool fun.
Yeah, it is.
I remember always taking all our kids to that, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, it's fun. Okay, that's all I have some games and stuff. Basically, it's inside, I'm worried about the calls.
You know, what are my friends?
I was gonna say.
I just had a really long period.
There we go. Big that people.
Gotta ask, there's no end.
Just for who I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she had.
What dance?
Oh, man.
Dance rules the world, man, you should get on board.
Yeah, she told me she was leaving Thursday morning.
Well, she was at ISAC.
Yeah, it's a back. It's
She's
just
back.
came back.
See, Rose, aren't you lucky you never had any daughters?
I had a son, he would never been. He's a lot of.
I had a grandson in swing show or swing choir, and I was
So you
like,
didn't
I
even
couldn't believe
They
it.
didn't even have swing, so I don't think.
Yeah.
He had years and years and years of basketball. He played in the YMCA league, and he was a Major League Golfer, they called him Baby Shaq.
I assume he was white, but thanks for pointing that out.
So I thought it was funny. It was a rental California, all the kids were white.
You're ruining my plunger.
Everybody have a good weekend, take care.
Bye.
I better go give Gar some money.
Well, yeah, I guess I am too. Picking up that rubbish then.
So what's the best thing to get? You know,
I think it's applesauce, and I picked up zucchini last week.
what's one of these those?
Right?
Make a salad.
Drink too much water. See ya.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
And you should get help. So Kim, you know that you have to have help people straight cast?
I think the kids know that,
Okay.
they've been talking about this for a while. I kind of just,
I'm not trying to boss you around or anything, those were one of those little things that are really easy to forget.
yeah, it sneaks up on you. I will remind them when I get home. Thank you.
Are you taking that breeding efforts or do you have a steer?
I kind of think they have a couple steers.
Do you have any idea if they're breed steers?
No,
They're crossbreds?
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, you gotta have breed papers.
yeah,
Okay. And tattoos in their ears.
yeah.
I learned a lot of things the hard way.
Yeah, we have to,
We didn't do that, forgot that.
yeah. And they changed the rules over the years, so.